On today's episode of the Football Feast, I have Leonardo Cannavale. Leonardo is an incredible culinary chef who cooks for elite athletes such as Marcus Thuram, Alessandro Bastoni, Jasmine Paolini, and Jasper Philipsen. In today's episode, we discuss what do elite sporting athletes currently eat, what it was like learning from some of the best chefs in the world, the habits and discipline of the best athletes, the benefits of a good nutritionist, the importance of eating right and developing high-level habits early as a youth player, and much, much more.
Thank you for stepping on, Leonardo.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Greg, for inviting me.
To start things off, Leonardo, can you give us a bit of a summary of your career, sort of where it originated and what got you to where you are now?
So I'm basically a private chef from Milan, Italy, and everything started from London, where I attended a cooking school called Le Cordon Bleu. Then I moved working for Michelin star restaurant for like 5-6 years in London, Monaco, Monte Carlo, north of Italy in the mountain, and then Barcelona. And then during COVID, I kind of go back to Milan, my home city, and I started to work as a private chef, even thanks to COVID, that I know was a bad period, but I took the occasion to start my own business. And everything started to go well, so I was like, okay, let's keep going. And little by little, I built up my career, my new clients, and everything until now that I'm working with a lot of clients, a lot of athletes in football, tennis, cyclists. So I mean, I'm almost getting there to my goals. I mean, still a lot of things to do, but I'm really happy to where I am right now.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. Especially you've taken that amazing journey, you've traveled and chased your dream there, and, turning COVID into a positive. And like you said, it was a negative time for a lot of people,
Yes.
and you've flipped it on its head there. So that's really cool.
I had in my plan to do some sort of private chef, maybe catering, something like this. So I was like, let's try. I had occasion at the time because, when you work in the industry of restaurants, food, you never have time to think properly about what are your goals, or maybe you have your goals, but you don't have time to put in practice. So I was like, let's give a chance, and it went well. Here I am. I mean, I feel really lucky, and it's been a lot of hard work, but 100% paid off.
Whereabouts did your passion come from? Where did that stem from?
I mean, here in Milan, here in Italy, you have to follow football. You have to have the passion of football. Since I'm really little, I was watching football. I was going to watch Inter Milan at the stadium with my family, with my father, with my brothers. So it's like something you cannot maybe describe, but it's really 100% passion, feelings. And we were, all of us in Manchester a couple of days ago to watch Manchester City against Inter Milan. And it's always a huge experience, like always if it's the first time going there in the stadium. So football is 100% passion here in Italy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Especially in Milan, like that divide between AC and Inter.
Yeah, and then this weekend is going to be the derby.
False Nine Football make high-quality retro jerseys from all of your favourite teams. Jump onto their website at www.false9footballau.com and put in TFN10 at their checkout for 10% off your next purchase. That's TFN10.
Inter Milan against AC Milan, so it's going to be huge. I cannot predict the result, but I hope it's going to be the best for Inter Milan.
Yeah. Has AC just sacked their coach?
No, not yet. I mean, they're close to, but not yet. I mean, he didn't start the season well, so, I mean, he's on the edge.
Yeah, definitely seems like it. What about cooking? So what about cooking with food?
I mean, everything started even there from my family. I mean, we really have the culture of cooking, eating well, eating properly. So, especially from my mom, she loves to cook, and I was there in the kitchen sneaking since I'm little, and I was there trying to learn new techniques, to learn a bit. I mean, I started with like cooking homemade pizza, homemade pasta, and then when I finished my study here in Italy, in Milan, I was like, let's give a chance on like do the professional career in the kitchen. So I went to London for cooking school, and it went well. I loved it, and then everything started. I mean, from the cooking school till working in a professional industry is like a huge step. It's not that easy, but you really have to like to love this kind of job, because it's quite tough. But I really love it, and until now, everything was worth it. So I'm happy I took this decision.
Yeah, absolutely. It always seemed like, cooking and becoming a chef would be a really intense job. Like, seems like a lot of high pressure situations in those kitchens. And I can only imagine, like, some of the chefs you've probably worked under that, would have been very difficult to try to sort of work your way up.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, of course, maybe the main chef wasn't always there, because, of course, I mean, most of these kind of chefs are managing a lot of restaurants all over the world. But I mean, for example, when Aston Blumenthal was there, Pierre Gagnaire, Alain Ducasse, Martin Barasadei when I was in Barcelona. I mean, all these huge personality coming in. I mean, you feel a lot of pressure because everything has to be perfect, 100%. And when you work in 2-3 Michelin star restaurants, I mean, you always work at top quality, and they always expect the best. I mean, either the chef you are working with, or either the clients on the table. So you always have to be perfect. And I think thanks to these experiences, I learned how to work under pressure, how to manage, and how to be organized, how to have the right method to process with the best ingredients. So I mean, all these, when I was working there, I couldn't realize it. But now that I'm here, I could see that all this kind of journey helped me to be here. And even when I face like huge opportunity, I'm ready for that.
Absolutely. It seems like, like a high level or high quality culture sort of like falls its way down and then teaches everyone else. And then you seem to have like learnt from that and then taken that on board. And now you're walking your life with those high levels.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's everything about experiences, knowledge, improving every day, working a lot, even if you're not in the best feeling, the best mood. I mean, the important thing is like to be there, to be concentrate, because it's crucial, and to be constant, to have a right consistency, because what they expect when you work in this kind of places, like to be consistent, because it's crucial. And then thanks to that, I mean, you learn, because that is really important to have method, to have organization, to work in the right way, to work clean, because everything has to be perfect. And if you are clean, it's easier like to work in the right way. And then, I mean, everything I learned during the years, maybe now my technique is a bit different, because I wouldn't say maybe it's like Michelin star level, because I don't use this kind of techniques. I mean, this kind of difficult techniques, but my cuisine right now is like Italian touch, using the creative side of Michelin star level. And this combination brought me here. And until now, all my clients, all my athletes are really happy about that. So I'm happy for this.
Yeah, wow. Wow, wonderful. Can you give us a bit of a list of sort of like the athletes and celebrities that you've cooked for, or you made food for?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everything started in kind of athletes world during Wimbledon. During Wimbledon, I worked for Jasmine Paolini, that she reached the final in during the tournament. Then there was Fognini, another amazing Italian tennis player, Potapova, Shevchenko, well, a wonderful female tennis player, and either like Iranian Paolini, they won the gold medal during Olympic Games in doubles. So I mean, was a huge win, and I was really happy for them. And I mean, a nice story was that after the final, the double final they won during Olympic Games, Jasmine Paolini texted me and she was like, "Oh, I would love to have your tomato pasta right now after the final. I really need it." But unfortunately, I wasn't in Paris, so I couldn't make it. But it's really nice to build up this kind of relationship, even with the athletes. And then during, I mean, now I'm building up since like 3 weeks. Everything started with Matteo Darmian, an Inter Milan football player, and then he was like talking with his mate little by little. So arrived Marcus Thuram, Alessandro Bastoni, Carlos Augusto, Marco Arnautovic. So little by little, I'm entering in Inter Milan team, and it's really huge for me as I'm a huge Inter Milan fan, and it's a huge story. I mean, I was there at the stadium the other day for Man City Inter Milan, and after the match I went to them like to say hi, to talk a bit about the match and everything, so it was huge.
Wow, mate, that's unreal. I'm absolutely jealous. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Wow, that's such a cool experience. So obviously they definitely like your food then, and word's getting around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I suppose you're making it easy for their wives and girlfriends as well, so they don't have to cook as much, and got your food coming in, serving everyone.
Yeah, we
Wonderful. So what does it take to fuel these elite athletes? What do you make for them?
So I mean, the athletes, and especially for Inter Milan, I work alongside them nutritionist called Matteo Pincella that I even met there in Manchester. We had a great chat, a great talk. And I mean, I think it's beautiful. Like, I think it's the best to work with a nutritionist, close to the nutritionist, because I mean, you can talk, you can chat, you can have a chat with him, and like talk. Okay, with this player is the best. Maybe this kind of food for the other one is good. Like to have this kind of nutrition. And they always like to have like complete Mediterranean diet, so the carbohydrate, protein, and vegetable. And then according to each player, of course, I mean the quantity are a bit different, but I mean they always like to have clean and balanced nutrition with the right ingredients, top quality ingredients. And maybe some of them they like to avoid maybe pasta that has a lot of gluten, that contains gluten, and maybe go to red rice, basmati rice, sweet potato that has wonderful wonderful nutrition. And even for protein, maybe not that often red meat, so like chicken, turkey, fish, white fish mainly. And then as vegetables, like a lot of variety of vegetable, like the seasonal one. But most of them, I have to say, that are open to eat and try everything. So that's great because I can use my creativity to cook for them whatever they like. So this is good.
Yeah, wow. That's really fascinating. So yeah, so you're working along with the club nutritionist to make sure that you're getting the macronutrients right for each player
Yes.
individually. Wow, that's phenomenal. So, and like you said there, each player needs a certain tweaking, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all the players share with me them diet, and based to them, I fix the quantity and maybe if they have any preferences, stuff like that. For example, I know that in during breakfast time that they do at the training center, they mainly have like eggs. So of course, I mean, I try to avoid the eggs. As I said, maybe red meat is not the best, but apart from that, I mean, really they like to have almost everything. And then what is nice is that they follow me, most of them on Instagram. So, I mean, they can see what I do even for the other player or them mates. So if maybe they see something that they can like, or like, okay, I would like to have this next time, I can easily make it for them. So this is good. I mean, I do my job. I share with on Instagram, and of course, as I said, they follow me. They can see what I do, even not for them. And if there is something that by any chance they like and I never made for them, of course, for the next time I can prepare even for them.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Looking at your Instagram, there's a lot of things there that I'd be selecting. They're
Yeah,
spoiled
I
for
mean,
choice.
it's kind of easy food, but preparing in the best way. And I can see even the player, they really enjoy it. Even if, I mean, when I do the delivery, it's like maximum for 3 days. So let's say if I deliver today, which is a Saturday, it's like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But even if they eat on Monday, the quality is like top quality still. And I mean, I always want to provide the best quality. So I mean, I tell them like maximum 3 days. You can store it in the fridge, then you can warm up however you want. But it's important to storage even in the proper way. So I mean, once you eat, you warm up and you eat, is like still top quality, because I think it's really important for them to have always the best nutrition, because especially this year they're gonna have insane calendar. They're gonna play a lot. So if they have the right nutrition, then they will be resting in a proper way, they will be performing in a proper way. And I think it's really important to have a proper nutrition so they will perform well then on the pitch.
I really like that. I actually like that 3 day turnover that you were just talking about then, because obviously, like keeping the food stored and that high quality, and even for taste, like once we go past 3 days or four extra and extra, it's going to taste worse and not be as enjoyable. Yeah. If they're going to away matches, are they eating with the club, the hotels and stuff like that? The nutritionists would be lining that up, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they always have the nutritionist and them chef, the club chef, working together, and they always have breakfast and lunch at the training center, because most of the time they training in the morning. So they go there, breakfast, training, lunch, then they go home, they can have them dinner at home that I cook for them. And then when they go, for example, away, or when they have the match, they go to the training center the day before. So they will have dinner and lunch at the training center before the match, which is most of the time in the evening. And then when they have the away match, for example, the other day in Manchester, the chef goes there like a couple of days in advance to the location, to the hotel, making sure everything is setting up and everything with the chef of the hotel. And then once the team arrives, everything is set, and the chef cooks for them. And for example, as well, when they go back, for example, after the match, the chef makes sure after the match they will have dinner before they're taking the flight straight going back home. So it's everything like a huge organization. Even the chef is doing a great job, because he's like cooking the training center, doing like the away matches as well. So must be tough, but it's really crucial even for them, like making sure even if they go away or wherever they go, they have the chef knowing what they have to eat. So is everything organized?
Wow. What about cheat meals? Is any of the players getting any of those desserts from you?
No. I have to say about that, they are really strict. So no sugar, no dessert, nothing. So like, as I said, complete meal, just carbohydrates, vegetables, and protein. When I was, for example, in Wimbledon, let's say maybe after a huge win, or maybe, yeah, just because I explain you, like during Wimbledon tournament, I mean, if they play, then the day after is like rest day, and then they play the day after. So maybe the day after, the same day after the match, they will like have the kind of cheat meal, cheat dessert, which was mainly like tiramisu. But from the rest, I have to say, even in tennis world, like all of them are having like good nutrition, especially because I mean Wimbledon is like one of the biggest tournament through the year. So I mean they want to eat properly, they want to have like the proper food. So they're really attent about nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely. Like at the highest level, all of those 1%ers add up,
Yeah,
and that makes a difference, doesn't it?
exactly.
I believe I noticed a picture on your Instagram with truffles with Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah. No, I have to say Fabrizio Romano is a big friend with me. I know him since more than 10 years. So I saw his hill escalation. He was working for Sky Sport. He was working. He's actually working with my brother. They build up a business about fantasy football. I don't know if you know. Like you buy the players between friends, and then the one scores reach the result. This kind of stuff. So they build up this kind of business here in Milan, here in Italy. And then he started since few years by himself, building his image, and he's doing insane. Actually, I mean, his numbers are crazy. And seeing him since like the start, and I mean, he's doing. He was doing, and he's actually doing like an insane job because he's like a machine. Actually, he's a machine. He's working crazy. And yeah, we did last year together this kind of truffle night because all of us love truffle. So I was there cooking for them, and yeah, it was great night actually. And of course, homemade pasta with truffle. I think is one of my favorite as well, and it was a perfect night.
That man's phone must just constantly just ring. He's literally the face of transfers now, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually like literally whenever there's a transfer window, he's the man. He's like Christmas time with Mariah Carey.
Yeah, it's funny when we go around. I mean, people ask for a picture or whatever. They always tell him like, I trust more you than my family, my parents, or whoever. Because I mean, when there is transfer market, they're always there. I'm waiting. Okay, maybe this player is coming to my team, but until Fabrizio Romano doesn't say, "Here we go," I don't trust. I mean, it's not yet done.
That's so very true. Okay, so I've got a few short questions for you.
Yeah.
First question is your favorite football player?
I mean, I have to say now in Inter Milan, my favorite, I really love Bastoni because, I mean, in the position he plays, he really has the touch and I think he's making the difference. And people say maybe he's not the best defending because, I mean, his body is not that like huge or whatever, but even the other day in Manchester, he played a huge game, a fantastic game. And it was like they stopped like someone like Holland, which never easy. I mean, this season is like scoring every game 2-3 goals, and he arrived to our games, and it was like 0-0. Even I think he touched like couple of the ball a couple of times during the game. So I mean, they did huge performance, and the other day as well, Barella is a huge talent, and he's making the difference. He's making the difference. And now, I mean, even our strikers as well, like Lautaro and Thuram, are insane. And playing together, they have a huge connection. And even last year, they did an insane season. And through the years, I mean, I think one of my biggest inspiration, of course, I mean, Ronaldo, il fenomeno was. I mean, I was still a little young when he was playing at his best. But Ronaldo, il fenomeno, when he was playing here for Inter Milan, I mean, even now, I have to admit when I see on YouTube his videos, I mean, I have goosebumps because I think someone like him is difficult to see again on the pitch. I have to admit because Ronaldo CR7. Or Messi, I mean, are insane talents because they played like 20 years, like top quality. But Ronaldo, like the years at Inter Milan, Barcelona, or even the first year, maybe Real Madrid, he was playing like magic. He was touching the ball, he was taking the ball, and no one could stop him. So I have to say Ronaldo il fenomeno is the biggest one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, that Inter Milan spine at the moment is some beautiful balance there. And for Ronaldo Fenomeno, man, like you, I get goosebumps when I'm watching those videos. But did you see the Beckham documentary?
Yeah, I watched him. Yeah.
Did you see how he was talking about his first training session for Real Madrid? And he goes in like he wants to impress, and he goes in to tackle R9, and Ronaldo just stops, puts a foot on a ball, and just watches Beckham slide past him, and Beckham's just like different world.
No, I mean even it's even impressive like to hear about former football player like Ferdinand, Cannavaro, Nesta, Seedorf, Mourinho as well. I mean everyone says. I mean no one like R9. I mean R9 it's was the best even when they were playing at Old Trafford like Real Madrid. I mean Manchester United, Real Madrid. He did hat trick, like standing ovation, and Ferdinand was like. I mean, I have a striker here scoring hat trick in Old Trafford, and my fans doing standing ovation to him. I was like, this never happened in my whole career apart from this occasion. So I mean, even Nesta after playing the final of Euroleague in '98 against Inter Milan that finished like 3-0 for Inter Milan, it was like I finished the game and I was kind of happy because I couldn't do anything more. I mean, was unstoppable. That night was unstoppable. I couldn't do anything more.
Yeah,
And if you see from these kind of players, I mean, this means that was kind of magic on the pitch.
yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with
And I
that.
have to say, I have to add as well, like, I mean, in general, in sports, my biggest inspiration is Roger Federer. And even like talking with the player now at Wimbledon, they're like, when Federer was playing like in Wimbledon or this kind of tournaments, he was coming in the ground, like in the club, the Wimbledon club, and everyone was stopping. I mean, even the players, even if they were like top quality player, like I don't know, Nadal, Djokovic, or whatever, everyone was stopping, admire him, like coming into the club, and like was like the aura on top of him because was insane. Not just in court, like off court as well. Everyone was respecting him like huge, insane. Like even just if other players were playing like Wimbledon, they were going to him like, "Can I have a picture with you?" or this kind of stuff because was an idol of everyone. Like a lot of players as well, like saying like, "I play thanks to you." Because when I was like watching TV, I was watching you playing tennis and was magic and you inspired me so much. So even Federer for me, I mean, I had the occasion. I have I was lucky enough to watch him playing when I was working in London at Wimbledon, his last year, and I mean, I think I couldn't ask any better. Like watching him in center court Wimbledon was a kind of magic. It's like the perfect connection. Like his class with the class of the tournament is the best combination.
Yeah, definitely agree. He's always had some like aura about him, like just this charisma and just this aura about him. Like he walks around, and, like you
Yeah.
just feel like this amazing presence. Like, yeah, like kind of the R9 kind of feeling, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is impressive as well. I mean, every year in ATP, like in the tennis world, they vote for the like from the fans, like who is the best tennis player, and they for 20 years in a row when Federer was playing since he was like 20, Federer every year in a row. So I mean, this I mean, it's something that will never happen again in the history because it's something unique.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so next question. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Maybe, I mean, I don't know superpower, but I would love it. As I was mentioning now, I would love to be there in the house of Federer cooking for him. So maybe this would be the superpower. I mean, I hope one day I will reach this kind of dream of mine, but until now it's gonna be this. And then my other superpower would be like to cook for all the Inter Milan players. So I hope little by little I will build up the relationship with most of them, or hopefully with all of them. So yeah, I mean, would be this one. I think my superpower. Inter Milan and Federer is the best combination.
Yeah, wow. I like that. That's a cool little cool superpower. I think that's really good. Oh, well, hopefully like words getting around and you just get there. Surely.
Exactly. little by little.
Yeah. I'll try and send this to Fed.
I hope it's gonna see it as well.
Yeah. What's your favorite food or meal?
I'm quite easy, I have to say. I mean, I really love to have even like sophisticated food sometime, but I mean, usually like my everyday meals are like really clean, like football player. I like to have carbohydrates, protein, and vegetables, like complete meal balance, no cheat meal and stuff like this. But I mean, if you have to ask me, and if I'm free to eat whatever I want, I'm quite easy, like pizza, pasta, ice cream. I'm a big fan of ice cream, cakes, tiramisu. I'm quite traditional about that. I mean, if I can have a proper cheat meal, I will go for that 100%. Classic Italian meal.
It sounds like it. I love that.
Yeah.
If you put down the apron and became an athlete, what sport would you choose?
Tennis, 100%. Tennis is my favorite sport by far. I mean, I love to watch and play a lot of games, mostly football and tennis and cyclists. I love to go cycling as well. I mean, I really like to take my bike and go for a long cycling. But I have to say, I play a lot of years tennis, and I really love it because it's individual. I love individual sports. You have to have a lot of mental. I mean, it's really important, like the mental side as well in the sport, in tennis sport. And I mean, I would have loved to kind of become a professional tennis player and never been close to that. But every time I play tennis, I could stay on the court like hours and hours, and I really love it. I really, really love it. So I would have loved, I mean, if I had to choose 100% tennis.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I definitely like tennis as well. I think it's a great sport, and like you said, Federer,
Yeah.
what an example of an athlete.
Yeah, because even that, for example, even R9 or Federer, I mean, they show up being like doing this kind of action like easy. The skills they had was insane, of course. Mother Nature gave them like a huge gift, but without hard work, they couldn't reach to that level. I mean, Federer, for example, gained 20 Grand Slam, and people is like, yeah, okay, it's easy because it's him. I mean, like just Djokovic and Nadal gain more Grand Slam. I mean, if he reached that level, of course, like he had a lot of skills by Mother Nature, but I mean, without hard work, you don't reach to that level. Even the mentality, because you have to have a huge mentality. For example, now we see like the new generation. Sinner is a machine, Alcaraz is a machine, but the other player, I mean, they are really talented, but in terms of mentality, I mean, they lack kind of that term. I mean, it's quite difficult to have the right mentality, especially when you play tennis. So, I mean, you can see the other generation, the Fab Three, they had the insane mentality when they were playing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like elite sports are a lot about sacrifice. Like to get to the top, like they have to
Yeah.
be so dialed in and so like, the eating, the sleeping, did they get enough sleep, 8 to 10 hours sleep? Did they wake up in the morning? Did they have the right breakfast? Like everything has to be so perfect to get to that level.
Yeah, for example, even Djokovic now is like 38. He's in the best shape. He just won gold medal. I mean, he arrived to that age, at that shape, at that level, because of his everyday life. I mean, his nutrition, his training, his mentality, working on the mentality with maybe mental coach or stuff like that. Or for example, even Lewis Hamilton that is still racing in F1, or Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso is like 43 years old and is still there competing like if he's like 20 years old. I mean, he's competing with someone like more than 20 years old younger, and he's still there beating them or competing with them. So it's all about mentality, working on themselves, like nutrition, mental coach, sleeping, as you said, having a good routine and stuff like that. And there is no escape. I mean, if you do this alongside your career, you reach to this kind of level, even if even if your age maybe doesn't permit you to be at the top. But if you do all this at the right way, you can still be there competing with the best. So it's really important.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I think the amazing thing is like these guys are doing it for such a long time as well. Like to be that dialed in and to sacrifice that much for that long period of time, 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But it's really interesting, even because I cook as well for a professional cyclist, and even him, he was telling him that it's really important, especially for a professional cyclist, the nutrition, because I mean they consume so many energy, so many calories during the race every day. For example, Tour de France is like 21 days, or Giro d'Italia, or all this kind of long journey, and it's really important the everyday nutrition, the everyday recovery. Like every day is like crucial day to recover well, and the day after like to perform in the right way. So if you start to do that in the young age, then it's gonna be easier for you when you're getting old, and I mean maybe you are old or the last year of your career, no? And I think this is really important, and this is a goal of mine as well, like to bring this kind of culture and mentality even to the young athlete, to the young player. And for example, I'm really happy that a young player, 2005, that is on loan in Switzerland and is an Inter Milan player, is asking me to cook for him already. So I'm doing the meals even for him. And this is really nice. I'm really happy for him because he's already 18 years old and he already understood, because his father was a really insane Inter Milan football player. He got the treble in 2010 as well, Stankovic. And his son is already understood that it's important in nutrition and stuff like that. So I think it's really important. I really hope other players like him, 18 years old, or like young players are coming to me, like asking the right nutrition, getting inspiration for Inter Milan player right now, because I think the earlier you start, better you're going to be in the top year of your career.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. That's one thing that I'm really trying to promote and really want to educate is these young athletes, and even like the parents of the young athletes, like if they can get that nutrition right now, then they're better fueled for when they're going into each training session. They're going to be able to train longer, more sessions. They're going to be less time injured, recovering faster, and getting back from match day into that first training session quicker. And like we're talking about 1%ers with those elite athletes. But if they get it right from the young age and they're getting all those 1%ers, those extra training sessions, those extra meters covered, like that's adding up like rapidly. And if you do it early, they're gonna run into mid-20s and become phenomenal athletes.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess even when they're gonna get like 25, 26, it's gonna be easier for them because it's like already 10 years they're doing it. Maybe, I mean, if you start to do at the top years of your career, it's going to be a bit harder because you're not used to it. It's all about getting used to it, lifestyle, this kind of stuff. I mean, easier. Before you do it, easier is going to be for them.
Yeah, 100%. So if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I mean, as I said, as I couldn't become a tennis player, I have to say I picked up because I'm really in sport and cooking. So right now I'm kind of combining both things, my both passions. So I mean, until now I have to say I'm doing everything I wanted to do. And I mean, still, I didn't reach anything. I mean, still, there is a lot of work, a lot of goals to reach. So I'm still like there with the mentality, keep going, working hard to reach my goals and to reach my kind of dreams and to develop my business, because I really would like to develop. I mean, in the last weeks, I'm seeing that even like people is like not kind of normal people, not like professional athletes, are really interested about this kind of meal plans and stuff like this. So I'm trying to develop this kind of business for everyone and trying to, as I was saying before, like to the young athletes, trying to teach and to like give this kind of education even to normal people, because I think it's really important even for normal people like to have the right nutrition, even if they have like a normal job, because if you have the right nutrition, if you have the right mindset, then everything arrives, so you reach everything. But if you, for example, eat bad, sleep bad, having a bad lifestyle or stuff like that, then it's of course more difficult to reach your goals or to be there with the mentality. So if you do everything right on the base, then you will reach the top. So I think, and I would love to bring this kind of mentality to a lot of people, because even here in Italy, for example, Italian people love to eat pasta all the time, but most of them, they don't have like the complete meal. So it's okay to have pasta, but with protein and vegetables. So most of them, they like to have pasta and that's it. And I think it's not enough. So I would love to teach them how important it is to have the right nutrition, to have the right meals like breakfast, like lunch and dinner, like to have all the meals. Because I mean, you have to have like the balanced nutrition, and more you have balanced nutrition, better is gonna be your day.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with like protein, like, spreading that protein across the day. Because what we see is, we see a spike in protein synthesis once protein's been absorbed, and that lasts for around 3 to 4 hours. And then you need protein to come back in again so we can spike that protein synthesis. And that's going to like speed up recovery for people, or, improve muscle growth. And for like players themselves, that's going to get them back on the training pitch quicker and, ready to go again. And for the general public, it's going to have their muscle, like retain muscle longer, and that's going to go a long way to help them keep their weight at the right levels.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's up next for Leonardo, and what do you got in the pipeline?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, I would love to keep going working with athletes. Could be tennis player, could be football player. I mean, and I would love to expand this kind of business even abroad. So my goal would be like to set down here in Milan like properly, to have like a proper business here, and then maybe going abroad as well. Because for example, if you think about London, if you think about, I don't know, Madrid or other kind of places that has insane football teams and has insane players. So I would love to bring this kind of culture or this kind of mentality even abroad, and maybe work alongside with other professional nutritionists from teams, from them teams or stuff like that. So to simplify even the life of athletes, because I mean, I'm seeing now that I'm cooking for them. I mean, them life is kind of easier because they don't leave the training center and be like, okay, what do I have to cook? What do I have to eat tonight? Because like some of them, they are living by themselves. So instead of like ordering like normal delivery that everyone can order, and maybe it's not the best because the quality is not the best and they don't have the best meal because they don't have all the macros, you order to me, it's easy. I mean, we are in touch. Okay, this day I need this day I need that. I go there, I deliver, quick chat. I mean, it's even good for them to have like someone to talk with, and it's not like a normal company that okay, you talk with whoever. No, you talk with me. I know that what you need because of the diet of the nutritionist. So I mean, I think this has a lot of potential, and I really would love to bring this potential to top level in the future.
Yeah, great. We might have to get you set up here in Australia sometime then.
Yeah, I would. I have a really close friend living there now, and he's working in the kitchen. So why not? He could be my right hand there in Australia, doing this job in Australia with all the athletes.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to follow you or see some of those amazing culinary creations that you make, how can they go about it?
So yeah, I mean, my main account is on Instagram. It's Gordolenny Chef, and over there I post all my content, all my creation, all my work I do with professional athletes, some picture with them. So it's really interesting. So if you want to see some of my creation, please go there, and you will see a lot of amazing content.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks so much for stopping by and sharing sort of what you've been up to and sort of what it takes to fuel some of these elite athletes. And I know a lot of people will get a lot from that. And yeah, thanks for your feedback.
Thanks. was a real pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Just wanted to summarize what we sort of discussed today. And we talked about sort of how athletes are trying to get those 1% healthy habits, and they're trying to accumulate them as much as possible into their career. And, like at the very top, there's only small differences that between each athlete, really. And these healthy habits, they're trying to accumulate them and find them wherever they can. Now, nutrition is definitely more than a 1% habit. It helps us in so many different facets. So prioritizing this is key. And, these athletes are definitely taking that in and making sure they're doing all the right things. And obviously it's paying off. We also discussed how youth players should be starting to form early habits, especially around their nutrition and eating the right meals, and putting prioritizing carbs for soccer players or football players is crucial for fueling what they need to do, for fueling their performance. So one thing to think about, so say if your child's got a tournament on the weekend and they're playing multiple games, they're going to need more fuel. So their usual meals or usual fueling is probably not going to be enough, and they're going to need more fuel for that. Not only that, but they're actually growing as well. So, we need to support muscle and bone growth, and we need to make sure they're getting enough fuel in, and they're also supporting that. We sort of discussed about the Mediterranean diet, or Leonardo said that's sort of something that they follow in Italy. And I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes, so that way everyone can sort of take a look at it. But for the sake of this podcast, it's a diet that prioritizes grains, breads, fruits, and vegetables. Then it would prioritize seafood and fish, and following that, poultry and dairy. And then lastly, it's sort of other meats and sweets that are the least often. And it's sort of a pyramid shape. So this diet also prioritizes eating with others and being physically active, which I think is really, really good. And eating with other people or eating meals together as a family or with lots of friends and multiple families, this is going to promote a really healthy eating environment, and it's going to benefit people not just nutritionally, but also socially and mentally as well. So it was quite interesting hearing about the difference in the Italian diet. And I know over here, we get lots of protein in. Meat's definitely a very common thing that we have with all our meals. But to hear about the Italian diet and, pasta being eaten a lot and maybe not enough protein and not vegetables with those meals was quite interesting. So obviously, that's something we need to get in because, eating meats generally come with are really good protein sources. Vegetables, we're going to get those polyphenols. We're going to get, different vitamins, which are going to benefit our body in so many different ways. So yeah, like he stated, a complete meal is definitely needed. And, we want to get as much in from everywhere and quality foods because it's going to benefit us in the long run because there's a lot coming from each different food source and each food group. Personally, I'd like to know a bit more about the periodization of their food and, the different macros. What are those percentages for each player, and sort of food timings as well of those players, the way it would lay out through the day. He talked about breakfast there. I'm going to assume that those guys are going to be eating more food closer to trainings as well, or games. So there might be another snack meal in there. Most likely a high carbohydrate meal, so something really simple, maybe some fruit juices or Gatorade Powerades. But yeah, I'd really like to find that out. I really liked how Leonardo spoke about the efforts that he and Inter's nutritionists are putting into the individual diets of the players, which is something that I think a lot of people should be aware of because, there are certain macros and micronutrients that we understand very well, but all of us are very unique. So there's different things that, each of us might not tolerate well. He talked about gluten for one of his athletes. But an example would be one person might eat broccoli and get extremely bloated and gassy, whereas another eats it and they are 100% fine. So it's really important for everyone and every athlete to sort of take the time to notice how food affects you and then remove or add them if necessary because, not all foods make us feel bad. Some foods make us feel amazing as well. And that's just not just food in general, like, herbs and spices. You might have something that smells really nice and tastes really nice, but you can sort of feel it afterwards. Like you've eaten that meal and just take a moment to sort of self-reflect and go, wow, like I'm feeling really good right now. I'm feeling light. My energy levels are high. I'm happy. Or if you've eaten something and you're going like, oh, wow, that's not sitting right. I'm feeling bloated. I'm not feeling comfortable. Well, maybe you need to like have a look at that meal, break it down and find out sort of what's doing that or what's causing that. And maybe work your way away from it, or try a smaller dose, a very small dose, and build that up. So for athlete population especially, and football players, the evidence is extremely clear that carbohydrates are king and should definitely be prioritized to fuel match days and training. Which, by the sounds of things, like over in Italy, pasta is definitely talked about a lot. I believe you talked about red rice as well. And a few different other sources there, like sweet potato. Sweet potato is a great source of carbohydrate. It's very tasty as well. So there's definitely, that's definitely crucial to think about, and everyone should sort of make sure that they're prioritizing that. If you're a soccer player, football player, this is a need and a must-have. That's all for today, guys. You can follow The Football Nutritionist on Instagram and X, and jump onto our blog at thefootballnutritionist.wordpress.com. Remember, keep fueling for success and kicking those goals.